Hello, holiday whiskey sippers. Welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm your host, Mark, and this is whiskey review number 133. Now, I had mentioned, I gave a little spoiler in the last review of what this review is going to be. I mentioned it was the saltiest whiskey I'd ever had. Now, many of you had thought that maybe that was going to be an Isla or some island that was going to make that nice and salty, but no, in fact, as you can see, it's a blended Scotch whiskey. This one comes from Cutty Sark, and it's known as Storm. There's quite a few Storms out there, which is interesting. Obviously, they can't really trademark the name Storm, so let's get that open. Nice tight cork, which is always good. There we are. Oh, it's got a nice aroma right when you open up the bottle. Isn't that great? Now, a big thanks to all of the new subscribers who have, subscribed to Whiskey Whistle. That was a very, very healthy pour. As you can see, this bottle, I don't know if you can see that, the level has gone down quite quickly, and I've only had this about a month or thereabouts. Anyway, so yes, thank you very much for subscribing. Hopefully you'll stay for a long while. Let me know if you have any requests, any questions, and feel free to comment. And if I do make a mistake, which happens a lot, just correct me, wouldn't you? Leave a comment, and then we can get that sorted straight out. And if it's a big, big blunder, I'll probably mention it on air, on camera, the next review. Okay? Now, we don't need to let this sit very long. It's a blended Scotch whiskey. It's not very old. It's 40% ABV. There's no indication here on the bottle or the box about chill filtration or coloration. So we'll just assume what we should assume, and I'll let you assume what you should assume. Okay, so anything I want to say about this? Well, one thing. Last year, with my first Cutty Sark review, which was for Prohibition, which you see right back over there, I had some very nice interaction with the blender, the master blender for this brand. And I think it's on the bottle here. Let me just read this to you. Like an experienced ship's captain, our master blender has the gift of making the difficult appear deceptively easy. Kirstine Campbell has effortlessly harnessed the considerable power of mature single malts from Scotland's greatest distilleries, including Highland Park and the Macallan, with lively grain whiskies to create a balanced blend with waves of complexity, culminating in a smooth, lingering finish. On its own, it's rich, full-flavored whiskey. It also has the character to make its presence felt in cocktails. Our actions define who we are. Edrington Distillers Limited, Glasgow, etc. Product of Scotland. Okay, so Kirstine Campbell, hats off to you for this one. I'll say that right off the bat. I was, I guess about a year ago, a little skeptical looking at this, seeing that it was 40% ABV with no age statement. And I thought, I think I'm going to leave it. This year, I just happened to see it, and the holiday sales are in full effect, even here in Seoul, where I live and work. And on a trip to Jeju Island, where people should go if you want a travel destination, please go Jeju Island. It is a lovely, lovely place, and not that expensive. But anyway, so the duty-free at Jeju Island, they had a nice sale, 20% off, so I picked this one up. And I hemmed and hawed, should I go for the Prohibition, get another bottle of that one, or should I get something different? So I chose this one. Anyway, on to the nose. Before that, we'll have a short word from our YouTube sponsors right here. Welcome back. This is Cutty Sark Storm. The nose. Even the nose is salty and very maritime. Just as you might think Cutty Sark would be given its whole presentation. Great color of the glass too, nice green, nice bottle green. I think my dad's beer bottles were around about the same color, not quite as lustrous. Anyway, yes, a little bit salty. Definitely some caramel notes in there. It's got vanilla. Beautiful casking. I can really smell the fresh, strong, vibrant casking that's happened here. And I don't really detect very much grain at all. What I do detect, if anything, it smells like either the grain itself is of exceptional quality, or the grain has been matured in casks of exceptional, not acceptable, exceptional quality, or both. Yeah, that might be that deep vanilla character. Could be the grain in there. And I forgot to remind myself which grain distillery, Edrington. I think they own half of something. Anyway, I'm sure you'll let me know. Anyway, so what did I write here? Well-aged grain, and I put in question mark here, wheat. And yes, the smoke certainly asserts itself as you nose it. It's not really a big smoke peat experience, but people who are familiar with the smell of peat, you'll say, oh yes, I can smell the peat. If you are just a typical everyday whiskey consumer, you may not notice. It's rather subtle, but it's there. So I wrote here, the smoke asserts itself. That's the Highland Park and perhaps a bit of the Glenrothes. I can certainly smell the Glenrothes here. It's interesting it wasn't mentioned there. It's definitely in this glass. Something kind of like licorice, but the smelly marker. And definitely not anise, licorice root. And I wrote here, poached tart apples. So tart apples, but ones that have been cooked. Like the kind that are really suitable for a nice apple pie. All right, on to the palate. Cheers all, and again, a big cheers to Kirstine Campbell. That is the feeling of the first sip of a nice whiskey of the day. In fact, of a couple of days. It's very clean. It is certainly nicely aged. I wouldn't say there's a lot of young spirit, young whiskey in this mix. Or if there is, it's been matured in very, very nice casks, likely sherry. We didn't talk about the color. Anyway, if you look at the box here, it's around about the same color. It's a bright yellow. Hint of gold there. Not much point in talking about the color in a blended, a typical, an everyday, let's say top 10 blended Scotch whiskey. Some of them are all natural in color, but we don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. No, it doesn't say anything on the bottle there. But you know, interestingly, Highland Park, as well as Macallan, do not use color. Glenrothes, good question. Not sure, but given that there's a lot, well, so it says here a lot of Highland Park and Macallan, perhaps this is natural. But I won't hazard to guess, and there's no point in wasting time. Anything else here? We didn't even talk about the palate yet. It's extremely smooth. even given that it's 40%, and a lot of 40% whiskeys are smooth, but this one has very, very little burn. So the whiskey that has gone in here must be very, very, very nice, nice stuff that they've put in. Not necessarily really old. It could be 7, could be 8, could be 10. There might even be some 12-year-old whiskey in the mix here, perhaps even older. Maybe the grains are quite a bit older. It's very soft, very buttery, and then you get this salt kick that comes in. And you really can't pick out the grain whiskey on your tongue. It would take probably an expert tongue to tell me that this wasn't a blended malt, in fact. If you hang on to it quite just long enough, you'll get the grain, and you'll like it, because I do. All right, anyway, there's definitely Glenrothes and Highland Park at the front here. And I wrote here, Euro Casked Macallan. Yeah, I'm getting something not quite like the cinnamon spice, vanilla, citrus forward, American oak. I'm getting more of the nutty, fruity, that sort of European influence coming through here. And the licorice also carries through in the palate. Oh yes. What does it say here? When you smack your lips, that's when the teeth come out for this one. Give it a try. You get some pepperiness now. Likewise, the smoke really comes out, giving it a bit of aeration in your mouth. And I wrote big licorice and a slightly bitey dryness as you're smacking your lips and getting some air going on in there. The finish is quite dry, then a kick of smoke, then it's just a nice warmth coming through, and then it just fades out. I like it. Definitely sippable. I think that was too long of a pause. I'm going to try to cut out some of those long tasting sounds and stuff. I've done that before. If you don't mind that, let me know. I don't think it's helpful for you to watch me chew on my whiskey for more than a second or two. A second at most, maybe half a second. I'm going to add a little bit of water, not very much. It is 40%, sorry about the bang. That's good, I think. Not my usual setup. That was a little bit too much, but I've still got quite a lot of whiskey in there. Yeah. Not my usual setup here. I'm in a temporary locale, which will go undisclosed. It's a random, typical office space. You can rent places like these. We'll say I rented it. Yes, you'll get some sweetness coming through. Okay, let me just go through that one more time. All right, now we'll have one more word from the YouTube sponsors right here. Okay, welcome back. Cutty Sark Storm, this time with a little bit of water. It really smells kind of like a salt and sweet kind of a fudge, like a vanilla, salty vanilla fudge. I don't know why fudge isn't big over here for some reason. That would be a thing to do. Make fudge and sell it. It's an opportunity. Interestingly, a lot of Korean food is quite sweet. Some of the meats are sweet, like kalbi and bulgogi. If you haven't tried those yet, please do. It's kind of like a sweet teriyaki, a Korean version of teriyaki. I shouldn't even say teriyaki. I don't even like saying teriyaki because that's a Japanese word. So if I've offended you and you're Korean, I do apologize. I'm just trying to liken it to something that most people would know. If they haven't tried bulgogi and they're wondering, well, it's like a better version of teriyaki. There we go. Which is basically soy sauce and some sweet things like maybe a bit of pear juice added, pear concentrate. Anyway, try some bulgogi. Bul means fire and gogi means meat. So it sounds like a barbecue, but that's the marinade that's been used. Anyway, so they like sweet things. However, they don't really like sweet chocolates and candies as much as people do in the West. They do like it, but it's not like something that they want every day. There are not many people here that eat chocolate every day. I practically, nearly, probably eat chocolate every day in some form or another. Okay, let's get on to this nose now. Yes, sweet and salty. Vanilla. Some citrus really deep in there if you go in real deep. Oh, it's just nice and fresh though. Okay, onto the palate. The sweetness is enhanced, and yet the dryness also has increased. And a little bit of a dampen on that smokiness. It's still there. In the finish, you still got that smoke puff of smoke. And I wrote here, sweet, then smoke with some honey. Yeah, quite honeyed. Now, the interesting thing I found with this one, after I've had a glass, I get incredibly thirsty, unlike other whiskeys I've had. So I wonder why that is. And probably, I'm sure, that Ms. Campbell might be able to tell me why. Because she knows all the things that went in here. I wish she would share something with me. Now, if you're not sure about that, this one's from Edrington, which obviously is the same owner of the Macallan Highland Park. Also the famous grouse, which I don't have here to show. I will have a famous grouse 15-year-old whiskey coming soon. That's an older bottling, an older one, oldie but a goodie, I should say. In fact, I'll have quite a few older whiskeys coming up soon, so stay tuned for those. Oh, right, we should get onto the scoring, right? Okay, so the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Cutty Sark Storm. Cutty Sark Storm is going to be 83 out of 100. Now I wrote here, it's a very nice blend, sweet with just enough smoke to make it fun, I write. And I mentioned the saltiness. Now the question is, if you're a consumer, which are you going to buy? You've got the 1 liter 40%, and you've got the 700 milliliter 50%. This is the Prohibition. Prohibition is unchill filtered, and it says so on the bottle. Where does it say that? Well, it's here. I remember it's here somewhere. Oh yes. Either way has a Prohibition. Either way has a super smooth finish, thanks to being non-chill filtered and aged in hand-selected American oak casks. Okay, so there you go, American oak casks here. I'm pretty sure some European oak casks have come into this one. 40%, 50%. You're getting about the same. I think a little bit more in this one at 40 than this at 50. 700 times 50 is 350, so 350 milliliters of pure alcohol. This is 1 liter times 40%, so you're getting 400. So yes, a little bit more of cask strength whiskey has gone into this bottle than this one. I'm pretty sure this one's a little bit younger. This one is a little bit older. They're both non-age statements, I should say. Sorry, they're both non-age statements. Roughly in the ballpark price-wise, there might be $5 difference, as far as I can recollect. Maybe 10 at the most. So which would I buy again? And I don't want to look back in my notes. I did really like this one, and I really like the fact that it was non-chill filtered. Good job on that. However, this has got a little bit more flavor, a little more roundness to it. The blend is of a higher quality. Okay, so probably if I had to choose, if this was even just slightly cheaper, I'd probably buy that again. If I can get this one on special, then I might get that one. But I'd be leaning towards, I think I'd be leaning towards Storm for this unique saltiness that I'm tasting. All right, anyway, they're both great. I love them both. Probably will buy both again. You know, it's not going to be around that long. This probably will not be around forever. Likewise, this one. You know, things change every decade, every couple, 20 years or so. So probably I would stock up on a couple of these, and when traveling abroad, I'd probably pick up another one of those and hang on to it, because this has certainly gone, disappeared quite quickly. I've drunk more than half of that now. All right, so I'm rambling. That's it from me here at WhiskyWhistle. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for another from Edrington, and if you look closely, you can figure out which one it is. Take care.